In the past 2 weeks, I've had the honor of working with some of the true masters of Peking opera from Shanghai Theatre Academy. Of course, my work was not an exact mirror of theirs, as they have devoted their entire lives to perform. However, I did learn the basics of a Cho scenario within that time. I learned sequences from the excerpt Autumn River, which is a part of the play The Jade Hairpin. The Cho is a comedy role in Peking opera, otherwise known as the clown, easily distinguished by their patch of white face paint around the nose. This can represent either a mean or secretive nature or a quick wit. The Cho usually plays secondary roles in a troupe. Cho characters are generally amusing and likable, if a bit foolish. In Autumn River, the romance between a scholar, Pan, and a nun, Chen, is dramatized. Pan is forced by his aunt, who is the head of the convent, to leave the convent for an imperial exam after she has discovered his affair with Chen. Pan is in such a hurry that he cannot even say goodbye to Chen. By the time Chen finds out that Pan has left, Pan has already crossed the river. In the excerpt that was taught to me over the past 2 weeks, Chen rushes to the riverside and tries to hire a boat to cross the river so she can see Pan one last time. She is that of a Dan character, meaning that she is female. The excerpt features Chen and a clown role performer as the boatman. Cho roles can be divided into Wen Cho, civilian roles such as merchants and jailers, and Wu Cho, minor military roles. The boatman is an exemplar of the Wen Cho character. Although we did not learn it in time, there is a point in the scenario where he actually loses the boat and Chen is almost washed away by the river. The boatman illustrates aspects of the Cho, or clown character, through his innocence and good intentions, the sharp contrast of that with his clumsiness, and the way he attempts to balance the two out. When I was studying the execution of this sequence, I was never explicitly told which parts were made for comedy. However, I found comedy in the times where either Chen or the boatman disrupted the stability of the boat, as this prompted a lot of in-sync bouncing to regain the balance. In general, I think that humor can be detected whenever they are trying to recover composure and symmetry, in fear of the boat tipping over. As for my thoughts on the training techniques, I love that we focused on perfecting specific movements and learning to handle the props properly, rather than just the story behind it. This way, it was more interactive and we gained a more in-depth understanding of the plot as we were executing it ourselves. Although not pictured in the video as they took the props with them, I learned how to roll up the sleeves of the Dan character in 3 precise strokes, which sounds a lot easier than it is. But it was absolutely incredible to work with true masters of the craft. I think from them, I was able to realize how much the little details matter in Peking opera. The slight vibrations in the words that are sung, having your heel touch the ground before your toes, wrapping the prop around your fourth finger and not your pinky are just a few of the details. One important lesson I think I learned from this unit was cooperation and partner work. In both scenes we were taught, both the verbal and nonverbal communication with your partner was vital for success. Without this, the timing would be off, which is a crucial factor in finding the comedy of the Cho. I think that this lesson goes beyond just Peking opera and impacts what I do in the future, in the sense that being aware of my surroundings is an important skill both on and off the stage.
1, 2, 3, 4. Ding. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. River, back, front, here. Andreas. Wait. 大就来呀！
来啦！I call. After that, take it off. Take a picture. Look at the camera. Move.
Oh, I fixed my clothes.
开船了。
Now, I'll teach you how to execute the sequence of going on the boat. I can only speak from the perspective of Chen, the Dan character, as I did not learn the role of the boatman. Prior to stepping on the boat, you'll need to unwind the prop from around your ring finger on your right hand and transfer it over to your left. In the video, you will see that I'm holding a stick rather than a prop. Then you pick up your dress, remembering to hold onto your sleeves as this will be important for the comedic exaggeration later on. Again, I'm not wearing the traditional long sleeves in the video either, as we did not have them after Shanghai Theatre Academy left. Everything is based off a 4-beat count. In the first 3 counts, step gently onto the boat. Shake a bit, in sync with the boatman, showing the instability of the boat. Remember the small detail of rustling your sleeves, as although it may seem like a small gesture, it is the most noticeable for the audience. This already brings about some comedy, as you can see the attempt in reaching an equilibrium. On the 4th count, you completely lose balance. Rather than taking a small step, you fall over. To stop yourself from tipping over, you sway back and forth in sync with the boatman for another 3 counts. In doing this action, you are to let go of your sleeves, allowing for the flow of the fabric to emphasize the drama. After this, you should be in a position where you are tilted towards the water, with your weight on your front foot. Of course, the boat would not immediately stabilize in a real-life scenario, so you have to continue bouncing, but slowly decreasing the degree of it. The most important part of this is to be in sync with the boatman, the clown, as the comedy is found in the timing. After regaining your balance, you try to get on the boat fully. Being extra cautious this time, on the first count, you are looking at the boat. On the second, at the water. By the 3rd count, you trip again and almost fall, only to regain your posture by spinning. The sudden jerk in movement makes for the boat to be unbalanced once again, so the bouncing motion, similar to that performed before, is repeated. Then, using your prop to guide you, you turn and wait on the other side of the boat. This gives the attention back to the boatman as he mimes the release of the boat from the dock. It also gives you the chance to fix your sleeves and the placement of your prop. After the boatman jumps back into the boat from the dock, the comedy is replayed once more when the seesaw effect is created in an attempt to balance the boat. Finally, cued by the boatman's calling of "开船了," you move in a circular motion by cloud walking. This means that your feet shuffle in and out while you do your best to keep your upper body facing forward. In performance, Chen wears a long dress, so cloud walking creates the illusion of movement. As you are in the back, it is vital for you to stay aligned with the boatman. This further emphasizes the recurring theme of finding comedy and symmetry in a world of chaos.
Andreas, can you get the car here now? I have a date to go to and I'm gonna be late.
Yes, Miss Chung, I'm coming.
Andreas!
I'm coming. Getting the car ready. Just 1 second, Miss Chung. The car is ready, Miss Chung. There you are.
What about this puddle on my beautiful dress?
Just try leaping over it first.
My dress!
Try again. All right. I can give you a hand. Oh, there. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Can we go?
All right, then let's go. It appears that we're running low on gas.
Do we have time for that?
Well, we kind of have to have time for that. Let me just do this really quickly, though. No worries. I found the gas pump.
Okay, ready?
Yep. That should do it. What?
Just continue. That's part of the comedy. It fell with the car.
Wow, that was a hard time. But let's get back to the date then.
Ready?
There's so much traffic. I'll make sure we get there on time though, Miss Chung. Don't you worry now.
In our adaptation of this scene, we decided to focus less on capturing the exact movements and more on keeping the same essence of comedy. Of course, we did try our best to put our own spin on traditional movements. For example, in the traditional sequence, Chen is made out to look far to the right and to the left. When doing this, rather than moving your head, you are supposed to lean your whole body side to side. To contrast this, in our adaptation, rather than looking at a distance, I was focused on my appearance in a nearby mirror, so I intentionally moved my head a lot more. More than that, we also wanted to mirror the desperation in finding love that is evident in the traditional piece, which is why we chose for the setting to be of a first date. Similar to how the boatman served as a mode of transportation, Andreas acted as my driver. Most of all, we focused on keeping the comedy to be centered around balance, the loss of it, and the journey in regaining it. This can be seen when I lose balance in entering the car, when Andreas is filling up the gas tank, when we hit a speed bump, etc. We also reused the cloud walking as we believed it was a very important part in the comedy of the traditional sequence, but had our own take on it, as it was in a car instead of a boat.